Welcome back. In our last episode, we looked at how biologists organize all living things using R.H. Whitaker's 5-kingdom classification framework. We saw how organisms are filtered by their cellular complexity and body organization. Today, we are focusing on the very first branch of that system. But to truly understand it, we have to leave the human scale behind and cross the microscopic threshold into the dark. Down here, we find Kingdom Monera. The name originates from the Greek word moneris, which translates to single or solitary. This kingdom comprises single-celled prokaryotic organisms, entities completely isolated in their physical structure. All bacteria fall into this category, and while a single bacterial cell sits alone under our microscope, as a group, they are everywhere. They thrive in the air, in the water, and in the soil beneath your feet. They survive the harshest environmental extremes on the planet, and billions of them are living inside your body right now. This presents an interesting paradox. These single-celled entities are the absolute simplest organisms in the classification system, yet their primitive, stripped-down nature is exactly what allows them to be the most widespread and abundant life forms on Earth. This animated diagram illustrates the physical scale of a standard bacterial cell. They measure somewhere between 0.5 to 4 microns across. For a direct comparison, a single strand of human hair is about 100 microns thick. To survive in so many extreme environments, the cell relies on specialized defensive hardware. It is protected by an inner cell membrane, a rigid outer cell wall, and a thick gelatinous outer layer called a capsule. This capsule prevents the cell from drying out and shields it from mechanical injury. What defines all of these bacteria is their prokaryotic structure. This means they lack a nuclear membrane. Instead of housing genetic material inside a central, protected nucleus, their DNA is left floating completely free within the inner fluid, or cytoplasm. You won't find complex internal organs here either. The cytoplasm contains only tiny ribosomes used to build proteins. Movement is handled by 1 or 2 whip-like structures extending from the cell wall, known as flagella. Kingdom Monera has persisted for billions of years without complex internal machinery. Its survival relies entirely on this stripped-down, highly mobile, and resilient physical shell. That specific physical structure allows bacteria to secure nutrients in a few distinct ways. Autotrophic bacteria manufacture their own food. They contain a pigment similar to chlorophyll, called bacteriochlorophyll, which allows them to synthesize energy directly from sunlight or inorganic compounds. Saprophytic bacteria take a different route. They release digestive enzymes directly onto dead and decaying organic matter, breaking down complex molecules into simpler ones that they can quickly absorb. Meanwhile, parasitic bacteria infiltrate the body of a living host and steal nutrients directly. This infiltration inherently damages and often kills the host in the process. This visual array categorizes the 4 distinct physical shapes that bacteria adopt to optimize how they feed and survive in their respective environments. A spherical bacterium is scientifically classified as a Coccus, a rod-shaped cell is a Bacillus, spiral structures are Spirilla, and comma-shaped bacteria are known as Vibrio. By pairing specialized aggressive feeding strategies with these adaptable physical forms, bacteria are biologically equipped to exploit virtually every ecological niche on the planet. When we zoom back out to the macroscopic scale, we see exactly how human industry and survival have come to depend entirely on harnessing this biological versatility. In the food industry, bacteria act as a massive, hidden labor force. Species like Lactobacillus and Streptococcus are used to convert milk into curd and cheese, while acetic acid bacteria drive the commercial pickling process. Scientists cultivate species like Bacillus and Streptomyces to produce chemical substances that inhibit the growth of other, deadlier microorganisms. These are antibiotics, like the citrusin and streptomycin. We also use dead or weakened disease-causing bacteria to create vaccines. These preparations are injected into the bloodstream to train the human immune system against severe infections, like typhoid, tetanus, and tuberculosis. Their utility spans broader ecological and industrial applications as well. Bacteria are used for the retting of jute fibers in textiles, recycling dead plants back into soil nutrients, fixing atmospheric nitrogen for agriculture, and aggressively breaking down modern sewage. If we were to suddenly lose the chemical labor of these primitive cells, human agriculture would fail, waste would accumulate globally, and our modern medical supply chains would immediately collapse. But the exact biological mechanics that sustain life can also dismantle it. Saprophytic bacteria readily consume human food supplies, turning fresh produce and meat into spoiled waste. Others, like Clostridium botulinum, infect canned goods and produce chemical toxins that lead to severe food poisoning. When parasitic bacteria turn their attention to a living host, they become known as pathogens, disease-causing organisms that weaponize their biology against plants, animals, and humans. Combating them has historically necessitated massive, sprawling medical interventions. This data table maps 5 common, severe diseases directly to their bacterial culprits. Cholera is triggered by Vibrio cholerae, tuberculosis by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and tetanus, typhoid fever, and botulism each stem from their own specific causative bacteria. Organisms that lack even a defined nucleus hold the power to produce our food, synthesize our medicines, and cause severe disease. They have survived ice ages and pushed through global mass extinctions. Considering their resilience, do you think single-celled bacteria will ultimately outlive humanity? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next episode.